In this lesson, we're going to begin building the parts to our headlight. Alright, so looking at the reference image that we have here, you really can't see any of the parts to the headlights themselves, so we'll need to use maybe a reference image or something like that. You can see that we have three different elements in this. You can see that there's this headlight here that's off to the left side, or what we're looking at on the left side of the front. We have one that's closer to the center, and we have this dividing set of LED lights that's right in the center of that. Now you'll notice that the glass itself is right on top of that, and it's got kind of this extra piece right here. That's actually over the top of part of this panel here. We can shade that with the glass itself. We're not really going to worry about that too much. So let's just go ahead and build out these three separate elements, and then we'll also have this plastic casing that's underneath, but that may not be as important. We don't have to flesh out all the details that are in that. So let's get the main components started. So in our front view, I'm going to go to use a cylinder, and let's hide the belly pan for right now. Let's hide selection, and here we have that. Let's go to cylinder, and let's left click and drag that out, and just kind of eyeballing it for right now. Let's place this right up about here, and if you need to, go back to your reference image, one that you found on whatever search site you want to use. And so it's going to be pretty close to that position there. Let's go ahead and move to our left view, and let's pull that forward. Okay, and let me just pull it right about here or so, and then we'll grab our modify panel. Let's adjust our height on that, and then let me go ahead and pull this back. Okay, so it's going to kind of stick out like that. We want to make sure that it doesn't come outside of the glass of that, so make sure it's in there far enough. You may adjust your radius a little bit, maybe make it a little bit bigger. Okay, and again, just referencing your reference image. Both of these lights are going to be about the same, so I'm going to go ahead and hold down Shift, and I'm going to drag this down to about here, and it's actually going to be covered up a little bit by that the grill. Okay, so from here it's going to look like the top half is kind of pulled off of that. So let's go ahead and go back. Actually, let me pull that down. There's going to be like this plastic piece that's going to come over the top of that. Now this one is going to be pulled forward a little bit, so we'll go to right about here, and that should have plenty of room to be covered up. So now we have these pieces in here. I've gone ahead and I've made them an instance, so if I change one, it's going to change the other. But in this case, they're both cylinders, and then once I convert them over to editable poly, they're going to be separate from one another. So we'll have to model them differently. Now, if you want to model them exactly the same, if you take a look at these lights, they're pretty close to being about the same, so we can get their major shape from one another. So I'm going to actually take this one, delete it, and then let's go ahead and duplicate that again. And then we'll make that an instance. Okay, and then we'll put that back in a position here. So let's go ahead and select this one, and let's start to modify it. If I take the edge right here on the end of this, I can pull that out. Now you'll notice there that it's not selecting, it's not showing my selection for some reason. Sometimes 3ds Max does that. I'm not really sure why, but anyway, let's go ahead and pull that out, and we should get kind of this dome kind of shape on the end, and then it's going to leave that in the center. Let's add another loop to this. We're going to add it right across the front here, and then with that new loop selected, let's pull that forward. I want to try to flatten it out as much as possible. Okay, I'm just going to try to eyeball that. And then I'm going to go to Edit Swift Loop. I'm going to add a loop right about here, and then I'm going to chamfer that. Take the amount down, and I just want a little bit of an edge there. Hit OK, and then let's take that polygon, hold Shift, select the next polygon. It should select that entire ring. And I'm really sorry that it's not showing that. Let's try something real quick. Let's convert it to editable poly. For some reason that's showing up. Let's take this and let's delete it again. Go to our front view, let's hold Shift, drag that down. Oops. Make it an instance, hit OK. And let's go back, try polygon view again. Okay, now it's showing up. Okay, so you can see how to fix that issue if it ever comes across again. Let's go ahead and extrude that, but we want to extrude it in its own local direction, and we want to extrude it into the light itself. Okay, so we'll do something like that. And I'm going to hit OK, and then we're going to add some loops into this. So I'm going to add a loop here on this outer edge, and then this outer edge. And then also on the inside, okay, of this, so right here at the very bottom, toward those edges there. Let's take a look at that with the Turbo Smooth modifier attached to it. Just see how that rounds out. It looks pretty good. We'll want to adjust the amount of subdivisions that we have there. I also want to add a couple of loops right across these corners here, just to make sure that that stays flat. Okay, like that. And then we could also go ahead and grab our polygons along the back side of this. So go to vertex mode, select that vertex in the center, hold down Control and go to polygon mode, and then grow that one time and then delete. So that way it stays nice and round at the very end of that. Now we're not going to be able to see the entire back side of that. We're going to build in a piece that will cover most of that up. Let me go ahead and pull this one forward while we're here. And I'm going to pull that in to right about here. Go ahead and check your reference image. And actually it needs to go right about here. There's going to be a piece that comes right along the side of that. So now that we have those built there, I'm noticing that my front edge here is just coming out a little too far. And let me select these vertices, and I think I may have gone into, there we go. Let's select around that front set of vertices there, and let's pull it back a little bit, just flatten it out some more. I'm having a really hard time with moving the viewport around. Sorry about that. Kind of flatten that out a little bit more. Okay. Let me take a look at my shape of that. You know, I think I need to pull that in all the way. Actually, I was thinking that that was kind of a little bit thicker right there, but actually let's select this vertex right here in the middle and hold down Control, go to polygon mode, and let's grow that. It's kind of hard to see on this. I'm not really sure why it's not showing me the shaded again. Alright, well I can see that the parts here are yellow, and so I've got this part selected. Let me shrink that because I just want to go up to this point here. And we're going to scale this up like that, and then we're going to push it back in. And then we'll take that vertex right there in the middle and we'll push that in like that. Okay, so it's going to create a shape just like that. Alright, that's good. We also need to flare out the edge just a little bit more on this, so I'm actually going to add a loop right about here, and then I'm going to take this polygon, hold Shift, select the next one, scale it up just a little bit, so just like that, and then add another loop right in behind that to just kind of tighten up that edge. There we go. Alright, so now we've got that set. That's looking pretty good. Now we need to add that third element to this, which is kind of like this line of LEDs. And so I really don't have, a good reference for that. You could go ahead and you could do an image search, try to find like a headlight for this car. It's a Maserati Gran Turismo, in case I didn't say that there. And so we'll maybe find another reference image to kind of tell what angle that's coming in. But I'm pretty sure that in the front view, it's going to look kind of like an L shape. So it's going to come up right along beside this light here. And then it's going to kind of jut across, kind of follow along with that headlight shape. So we'll go ahead and we'll create that in our next lesson.